Hey friend, Preston Schmidli of Good Vibes Squad here, and in this video we're going to break down the secret about borrowers that say that they're not ready for 6 to 12 months, okay? And this is actually a very simple thing to understand once you've been explained it and go through it, but it's something that's not very commonly communicated, and it's very beneficial once you understand it. Buyers that say that they're 6 to 12 months out or more, okay, and this isn't an uncommon thing, that's generally not the case. Now, before you say, well, Preston, I assure you it is. This is what they tell me. Sure, that might be valid, but that doesn't mean it's the reality of the situation. You have to understand the information that they're getting, okay? I've listened to plenty of calls where people had a 740 credit score, they had $20,000 in the bank, and they didn't think that they qualify for 6 months or a year out because their cousin who's a mechanic told them that they just didn't have enough credit, whatever that might be. Okay. You'd be shocked at some of the things I've heard when I listen to recorded calls. But the reason I'm telling you this is that generally people think that they're 6 to 12 months out, not because of anything real, not because of anything tangible, but because of misinformation or disinformation that they received from somebody close to them that's not qualified to talk about the transaction and you know what really goes into qualifying for a mortgage, or they just don't generally know about the programs, and so they're running with bad information to begin with. Okay, that's generally what you're going to see. And so when somebody says that they're 6 months out or 12 months out, more often than not, it's not necessarily the legitimate situation as much as it's a cry for help. When I hear somebody say I'm 12 months out, to me, that, like, I see a money symbol go up, because that means that nobody before you has actually taken the time to explain to them why they aren't 12 months out, right? There's a difference between them thinking they're 12 months out and them wanting to be 12 months out, right? There are totally legitimate use cases where people are planning 12 months out, and that's fine. All I'm saying is, the more often than not, these people are, they think they're 6 to 12 months out based on information that's not accurate whatsoever. And so they're coming to this call thinking that they don't have hope, that they don't have a dream. And so your job in this situation, when somebody thinks they're that far out, you don't want to be confrontational. You don't want to tell them, no, that's not the case. But you want to honor it and go, that's respectable that you're trying to be this proactive. If you don't mind me asking, Susan, what makes you feel that you're 12 months out from now? And they'll generally tell you, well, my credit's only this, we only have this much money, and go, okay, no, that makes sense. Well, let me ask you this. What if we could alleviate A, B, and C? If those weren't requirements to buy a home, do you have the desire to buy a home if those weren't issues for you? And just ask, right? See what's up. And then and then once they tell you, well, yeah, of course I want to have a home yesterday, but it's just not the reality, right? Be like, well, and that's not necessarily true, right? Let me put together some plans and some action here that we can take, so that you can actually get in that home. And so you'd be surprised by often by just asking them, honoring what they say, and then asking them what makes them feel like that's the right time frame for them. They'll usually tell you why they think that way. And by going, okay, that makes sense. What if those things weren't a problem? Would you still want to buy a house sooner, or would you still want to wait? It's like you could ask that question. If they tell you sooner, then try to help them. And if not, then that's fine, right? You can move them out. But I'm just saying, if somebody says they're 6 to 12 months out, if you can reframe that, instead of being a no or an objection, instead of being that, look at it as a cry for help because they've been underinformed, misinformed, or disinformed, you will generally start to pull people that you would have just thrown by the wayside. You'll start to actually nurture them, and before you know it, those people will be buying houses from you because you actually took the time to get to know them as people and get to know their problems, their insecurities, and the information that was separating them from their dream. And you're going to be the one to solve that problem. So I hope that this video helps. And if you have any questions whatsoever about this, feel free to ping us in the user group. And we're generally here to support you as much as we can. And I'll see you in the next video.